Archangel Michael says, this is your moment to choose differently. Don't scroll, listen to this, because if you're here right now, this message is for you, and your heart needs this right now more than you realize, and the reason it feels urgent but gentle at the same time is because destiny never yells, it whispers until the aware finally listen. Take a breath with me and stay, because Archangel Michael is stepping forward in this exact moment to say you have arrived at a turning point that looks ordinary on the surface but carries extraordinary weight beneath it, and listen to this carefully, you were not meant to repeat what you've already outgrown, you were not meant to respond the same way, choose the same type of person, tolerate the same energy, or silence the same instincts again. And don't scroll, because this moment is not random, it is a divine interruption placed in your path to slow you down just enough to feel the difference between fear and alignment, and your heart knows the difference even if your mind is still catching up. Listen to this, the reason you've been feeling restless, reflective, emotional, or unusually aware lately is because your spiritual awakening has reached a new layer, one where awareness shows up before the pattern does, not after. And that's why this feels different from every other time, because this time you can sense the fork in the road before you step on it, and Archangel Michael says that awareness is your protection, not your punishment. Don't scroll, this message is for you because your soul has been rehearsing this choice for longer than you think, through signs from the universe that kept nudging you to slow down, through angel numbers that appeared when you were questioning yourself, 1111 when alignment was closer than it looked, 222 when balance mattered more than proving a point, 44 when you were exhausted but still protected, and listen to this, those weren't coincidences, they were confirmations building up to this exact decision. Your heart needs this right now because choosing differently doesn't mean you were wrong before, it means you are wiser now. And Archangel Michael wants you to release the shame of past choices because they were made with the awareness you had at the time, but today, your awareness has expanded, and with that expansion comes a new responsibility to honor what you now know. Don't scroll, because this moment reaches into love and soulmate energy in a powerful way, and whether you are single, connected, healing, or confused, the message is the same. Real love does not require you to abandon yourself, real love does not make you feel small, anxious, or constantly unsure, and recognition does not come with chaos, it comes with calm, with a sense of being seen without effort. And if something or someone requires you to override your intuition to stay connected, listen to this, that is not destiny, that is repetition trying to disguise itself as familiarity. Your heart needs this right now because choosing differently may feel uncomfortable at first, especially if you're used to reacting quickly, fixing things, over-explaining, or staying silent to keep peace, but Archangel Michael says peace that costs you your truth is not peace at all, and this is the moment where you are invited to pause instead of panic, to breathe instead of chase, to listen instead of assume, and don't scroll, because the pause itself is the miracle. The pause is where old cycles lose their grip. Listen to this, choosing differently does not always look dramatic, sometimes it looks like not replying right away, like saying no without guilt, like walking away quietly, like resting instead of forcing, like trusting that what is meant for you will not require you to betray your own nervous system. And your heart needs this right now because your body has been carrying the truth longer than your mind has allowed you to admit. Don't scroll, Archangel Michael is also speaking to the fear that comes with change, the fear that if you don't repeat the old pattern, you'll lose something important, but listen to this carefully, what is aligned will not be lost by your honesty, and what is not aligned will not be saved by your sacrifice. And this is the moment where faith stops being a concept and starts being a choice. Your spiritual awakening has prepared you for this, that's why you notice energy shifts faster now, why loud environments drain you more easily, why you crave clarity over excitement, and why your intuition speaks through your body as much as your thoughts. And listen to this: tightness is information, relief is confirmation, calm is guidance, and your heart needs this right now because guidance is no longer external for you. It is internal and steady. Don't scroll, because Archangel Michael wants you to hear this final truth before you move forward. Choosing differently does not mean choosing alone. You are surrounded, supported, and protected in ways you cannot fully see yet. And when you honor this moment, when you choose alignment over urgency, peace over proving, and truth over habit, the path ahead will begin to rearrange itself quietly, without force, without chaos, without loss. And you will look back and realize this was the moment. Everything shifted, not because something dramatic happened, but because you finally listened, you finally paused, and you finally chose yourself with clarity instead of fear. And if you stay with this feeling just a little longer, if you don't scroll away from it, you will feel it settle in your chest like a calm knowing, and that knowing is Archangel Michael's confirmation that you are exactly where you are meant to be, at exactly the right time, with exactly the awareness needed to choose differently. And because you do, everything that comes next will meet you with the same honesty, protection, and peace you just chose for yourself. Don't scroll, listen to this, because if you are still here for part 2, Archangel Michael is now speaking to what happens the moment you choose differently, and your heart needs this right now, because this is where fear tries to rush you back into the familiar, and awareness gently invites you forward into something new. Listen carefully. Choosing differently doesn't immediately change the world around you, it changes you, and that shift is powerful enough to alter everything that follows, even if it begins quietly. Don't scroll. This message is for you because right after a turning point, doubt often whispers, asking if you're overthinking, imagining things, or being too sensitive. But listen to this: sensitivity is not weakness, it is perception, and Archangel Michael says perception is how protection works before danger arrives. Your heart needs this right now because when you choose differently, you may feel a strange mix of relief and uncertainty, like stepping off a moving walkway and realizing you are standing still for the first time in a long time, and stillness can feel unfamiliar when your old survival strategy was motion. Don't scroll. Listen to this: awareness does not ask you to leap blindly, it asks you to stay present, to notice what arises without immediately fixing it, numbing it, or explaining it away, and that presence is what keeps you from slipping back into old cycles disguised as comfort. Listen carefully. Archangel Michael says the moment after a conscious choice is sacred, because it's where the universe recalibrates around your new boundary, and that recalibration may look like silence, delays, or shifts in energy, not because you did something wrong, but because alignment takes a breath before it moves. Your heart needs this right now because silence is not absence, it is adjustment. Don't scroll. This message is for you because you are learning a new rhythm, one where you don't chase clarity, you allow it, and that can feel unsettling if you're used to resolving discomfort immediately. But listen to this: not every feeling needs an answer, some feelings need space, and space is where intuition gets loud. Your spiritual awakening is deepening here, moving from recognition into embodiment, and that's why signs from the universe may feel different now. Angel numbers still appear, but they land softer. 1111 feels like a quiet alignment rather than a question. 222 feels like balance holding because you didn't react. 444 feels like reassurance when you chose rest instead of force. And listen to this: those signs are not pushing you forward, they are confirming you are steady. Don't scroll, because Archangel Michael wants you to understand this clearly. Choosing differently may initially make others uncomfortable, not because you are wrong, but because you are no longer predictable, and predictability is how unconscious dynamics survive. Your heart needs this right now because not everyone will adjust immediately to your new pace, your new boundaries, your new calm, and that does not mean you should shrink back to keep harmony. Harmony that requires self-abandonment is not harmony at all. Listen to this. Love and soulmate energy respond directly to conscious choice. When you stop choosing from fear, you stop attracting relationships that feed on it, and you begin to draw connections that meet you in clarity, presence, and mutual respect. Recognition feels calm, recognition feels safe, recognition feels like you don't have to convince anyone of your worth. Don't scroll. This message is for you because you may feel a pull to check, to reach out, to explain yourself, to make sure everything is okay, but listen to this. Reassurance seeking is often the last echo of an old pattern, not a requirement of the new one, and Archangel Michael says you don't need to undo your choice to soothe temporary discomfort. Your heart needs this right now because growth often feels like restraint before it feels like freedom. Don't scroll. Choosing differently also changes how you experience time. Urgency loses its grip, deadlines soften, and you realize that what is meant for you does not evaporate when you slow down. In fact, alignment often arrives when you stop chasing it. Listen to this. Urgency was never intuition, it was fear trying to stay useful, and awareness gently retires fear from leadership. Don't scroll. Archangel Michael wants you to hear this part especially. The universe responds to clarity faster than effort. When you choose differently with integrity, doors that required force begin to close, and doors that open without struggle begin to appear, sometimes subtly, sometimes through opportunities, sometimes through people showing you who they are without you having to ask. Your heart needs this right now because effort is no longer your currency, presence is. Listen to this. You may notice changes in your body, deeper breaths, less tension, a slower heartbeat, or moments of unexpected emotion. These are signs your nervous system is recalibrating from survival to safety, and that transition can feel tender, even overwhelming at times, but Archangel Michael says tenderness is not fragility, it is healing. Don't scroll, because the mind may try to replay old scenarios, asking, what-if questions, but awareness does not live in hypotheticals, it lives in the present moment, and the present moment feels calmer than your fears predicted. Notice that. Your heart needs this right now because evidence of peace dismantles fear more effectively than reassurance ever could. Listen to this. Choosing differently also means trusting that you don't need to announce your growth, you don't need validation for your boundaries, and you don't need permission to honor what feels true. Your life will speak for you through how it unfolds. Don't scroll. Archangel Michael reminds you that faith is not about certainty, it's about alignment without guarantees. And you are practicing that right now by staying present instead of rushing back into the familiar. Your spiritual awakening has prepared you for this stage. That's why noise feels louder now, chaos feels heavier, and peace feels more valuable than excitement. These are not losses, they are refinements. Listen to this. The aware ones often feel like they're standing between worlds for a moment, no longer fully identified with the old way, not yet settled into the new. That in-between space is not failure, it's transformation. Your heart needs this right now because transformation happens in the pause, not the leap. Don't scroll. As part 2 closes, stay with this calm, notice how it holds you without demanding anything. That calm is not emptiness, it's stability, and stability is what allows new paths to form beneath your feet. Archangel Michael confirms this gently and clearly. Choosing differently has already begun to work, not loudly, not dramatically, but effectively, and if you stay with this awareness just a little longer, you will feel the certainty settle in that you did not miss anything by pausing, you did not lose anything by choosing peace, and what is meant for you is already adjusting its course to meet you exactly where you are now, awake, present, and protected. Don't scroll. Listen to this. because if you are still here for part 3, Archangel Michael is now speaking to why choosing differently feels uncomfortable right before it feels right, and your heart needs this right now, because this is the stage where many people turn back, not because they were wrong, but because they underestimate how powerful awareness really is. Listen carefully. When you choose differently, you don't just step away from an old habit, you step away from an old identity, an old version of yourself that survived by adapting, pleasing, explaining, enduring, or overgiving, and even if that version kept you safe once, it is not meant to lead you anymore. Don't scroll. This message is for you because discomfort does not mean danger, it means growth is rearranging your inner world, and rearrangement always feels strange before it feels natural. Listen to this. Archangel Michael says the aware ones often feel a quiet grief here, not because they regret the choice, but because they finally see how much they carried unnecessarily, how much they tolerated out of love, loyalty, or fear, and that realization can feel heavy before it feels freeing. Your heart needs this right now because grief is not a sign you made the wrong choice, it is a sign you are honoring your truth. Don't scroll. Awareness has a way of slowing everything down so you can feel what you once ignored, and that includes emotions you pushed aside to keep going, sadness you didn't have time to process, anger you swallowed to keep peace, and exhaustion you normalized. Listen to this. None of those feelings are here to punish you, they are here to complete a chapter so you don't have to repeat it. Your spiritual awakening is deepening again here, moving from insight into integration, and integration is quieter, slower, and more emotional than the early stages of awakening, which is why you may feel reflective, tender, or unusually sensitive right now. Don't scroll. This message is for you because sensitivity is not weakness at this stage, it is clarity without armor. Listen to this. Archangel Michael wants you to understand something important. The discomfort you feel is not coming from the future, it is coming from the past loosening its grip, and the past always resists release before it lets go. Your heart needs this right now because letting go does not always feel like relief at first, sometimes it feels like standing still without the noise you're used to, and silence can feel loud when chaos was familiar. Don't scroll. Choosing differently also changes how you relate to people around you. Some may sense the shift before you say a word, they may test your boundaries, ask more of you, or react subtly to your new calm. Listen to this. Those reactions are not signs you should go back, they are signs your energy has changed, and energy shifts always reveal who benefited from the old dynamic. Your heart needs this right now because you are not responsible for managing others' comfort at the expense of your own alignment. Don't scroll. Archangel Michael speaks gently but clearly here. You do not need to explain your growth to anyone who is committed to misunderstanding it. Awareness does not argue, it simply chooses differently again and again until the new path stabilizes. Listen to this. Love and soulmate energy are being purified through this stage. Awareness removes attraction based on wounds, urgency, or fantasy, and replaces it with recognition based on presence, safety, and mutual effort. Recognition feels calm, recognition feels grounded, recognition feels like you don't have to abandon your needs to stay connected. Your heart needs this right now because the love meant for you will meet you where you are awake, not where you were exhausted. Don't scroll. Choosing differently may also trigger fear about time, about whether you're behind, about whether you waited too long to change. Listen to this. Time responds to alignment, not panic, and what is truly meant for you is not delayed by your honesty, it is protected by it. Your spiritual awakening has taught you that rushing is not faith, presence is. Don't scroll. Archangel Michael says the aware ones begin to notice how often they used to override their own signals just to keep things moving, and how unnatural that feels now. Your body will no longer cooperate with choices that betray your truth. That's not failure, that's integration. Listen to this: tightness is information, heaviness is information, relief is information, calm is information, and your heart needs this right now because information is how guidance communicates now, not through chaos, not through crisis, but through sensation. Don't scroll. You may feel moments of doubt where your mind replays old scenarios, wondering if choosing differently will lead to loss, loneliness, or regret. Listen carefully. Regret comes from staying asleep, not from waking up. Awareness prevents regret by intervening early. Your heart needs this right now because prevention is gentler than repair. Don't scroll. Archangel Michael reminds you that faith at this stage is not about certainty, it's about consistency, choosing alignment again even when the old way calls your name. Consistency is how new realities form. Listen to this: you don't need to see the whole path, you only need to stay honest at the next step, and the next step often looks like rest, restraint, silence, or patience, not action. Your heart needs this right now because patience is not delay, it's preparation. Don't scroll. As part 3 comes to a close, notice how your breath feels, how your body feels, how the urgency you expected didn't arrive. That calm is evidence that choosing differently didn't collapse your world, it stabilized it. Archangel Michael confirms this softly and powerfully: you are not lost, you are not late, and you are not alone. You are in the middle of a recalibration that will make the rest of your journey lighter, clearer, and more aligned than anything you've experienced before, and the reason this feels unfamiliar is because you have never chosen this consciously before. But now you are, and because you stayed, because you listened, the path ahead is already adjusting to meet you with less struggle and more truth than you ever thought possible. Don't scroll. Listen to this, because if you are still here for part 4, Archangel Michael is now speaking to what happens when the universe notices you have truly chosen differently, and your heart needs this right now, because this is the phase where things don't fall apart, they subtly rearrange, and subtle change is harder to trust than chaos, but far more powerful. Listen carefully. When you choose differently from awareness instead of fear, the universe doesn't rush to reward you with fireworks, it responds with precision. It begins to move people, delays, opportunities, and timing quietly out of your way, and that quiet movement can feel confusing if you were expecting instant confirmation. But don't scroll. This message is for you because confirmation at this level arrives as peace, not excitement. Listen to this. Archangel Michael says many people mistake calm for stagnation, but calm is the signal that you are no longer fighting the current, you are floating with it, and floating feels strange if you've spent years swimming against resistance. Your heart needs this right now because you are learning that ease is not laziness, ease is alignment. Don't scroll. Choosing differently also changes how problems show up in your life. They become smaller, clearer, and easier to solve, not because life is suddenly perfect, but because you are no longer exhausted before you face them, and exhaustion was the real enemy all along. Listen to this. Awareness restores energy by removing unnecessary battles, unnecessary explanations, unnecessary emotional labor. And that restoration can feel unfamiliar, even suspicious, at first. Your heart needs this right now because safety can feel boring to a nervous system trained on adrenaline, but boring is not bad, boring is regulated. Don't scroll. Archangel Michael is also revealing that after you choose differently, the universe often tests your commitment gently, not with disasters, but with invitations to return to old comfort zones, a message from someone who once drained you, an opportunity that looks good but feels heavy, a familiar urge to overgive. Listen carefully. These are not punishments, they are checkpoints, asking, are you serious about this new standard? Your heart needs this right now because you don't have to pass these tests perfectly, you only have to notice them. Don't scroll. this message is for you because noticing is enough to break a pattern. You don't need confrontation, closure speeches, or dramatic exits. Awareness dissolves repetition without noise. Listen to this. Love and soulmate energy are being recalibrated again here, and this time it's not about attraction, it's about availability. You are no longer available for half-effort, emotional guessing games, or connections that rely on your patience instead of mutual presence. Recognition feels calm, recognition feels consistent. Recognition feels like your nervous system doesn't have to stay alert to stay connected. Your heart needs this right now because peace is how real love announces itself. Don't scroll. Archangel Michael says choosing differently also affects your intuition. It becomes clearer because it no longer has to compete with anxiety. You start trusting first impressions again. You stop overanalyzing simple truths, and you feel a quiet yes or no without debate. Listen to this. Clarity does not argue, confusion does. Your heart needs this right now because clarity is returning as your default state. Don't scroll. You may notice that some doors you once wanted desperately are closing without effort, and instead of panic, you feel relief. That relief is guidance, not loss. Listen to this. What leaves easily was never meant to stay once you woke up, and what stays steady without effort is aligned. Your spiritual awakening is stabilizing here, shifting from emotional highs and lows into grounded presence, and that grounded presence is what allows long-term peace, not just temporary insight. Don't scroll. Archangel Michael wants you to understand this clearly. Choosing differently does not make your life smaller, it makes it more intentional. You spend energy where it matters, you invest attention where it's reciprocated, and you rest without guilt, and that intentional living multiplies what you receive. Your heart needs this right now because intention is how destiny cooperates with free will. Don't scroll. This message is for you because you are learning that you don't need to convince the universe you are ready. Your consistency already shows it. Every time you pause instead of react, every time you choose honesty over habit, every time you listen to your body instead of overriding it, you signal readiness. Listen to this. Angel numbers may now appear right after you make aligned choices, not before. 1111 as a confirmation after you said no. 22 after you chose balance instead of urgency. For 44 when you rested even though fear told you to push. These are acknowledgments, not instructions. Your heart needs this right now because acknowledgement builds trust. Don't scroll. Archangel Michael also reminds you that growth at this stage feels quieter because it is deeper. Roots grow underground before branches appear, and you are growing roots now. Stability, self-trust, discernment, patience. Listen to this. Patience is not waiting, it's allowing. Your heart needs this right now because allowing lets the right things find you without force. Don't scroll. You may still feel moments of doubt where you wonder if choosing differently will really pay off. Listen carefully. The absence of chaos is already the payoff. Peace is not the reward after success. Peace is the success. Your heart needs this right now because peace sustains what excitement cannot. Don't scroll. As part 4 settles, notice how your body feels heavier in a grounded way, not burdened, but anchored. That anchoring is new, and it's what keeps you from being pulled back into cycles that once felt inevitable. Archangel Michael confirms this with quiet authority. You are not in transition anymore, you are in alignment, and alignment does not rush, it holds. Stay here for a moment longer, breathe into that steadiness, because the universe is already responding to the version of you who chose differently. And what comes next will not require struggle to recognize it. It will meet you calmly, clearly, and right on time, because you finally chose from awareness instead of fear, and that choice has changed the direction of everything that follows. Don't scroll. Listen to this, because if you are still here for part 5, Archangel Michael is now speaking to the moment your new choice begins to return something tangible to you, and your heart needs this right now, because this is where faith becomes lived experience, not theory. Listen carefully. When you choose differently and stay consistent, something subtle but powerful happens inside you first. Your self-trust stabilizes, and that stability becomes magnetic. It changes how life approaches you, not by chasing outcomes, but by aligning circumstances. Don't scroll. This message is for you because you are entering the phase where you stop asking, "Did I do the right thing?" and start noticing, "Why does everything feel clearer?" Listen to this. Archangel Michael says clarity is the reward people overlook because it doesn't sparkle, but clarity saves years of confusion, wasted effort, and emotional exhaustion, and clarity is now becoming your baseline. Your heart needs this right now because a clear heart makes strong decisions quietly. Don't scroll. Choosing differently has recalibrated your inner compass. And now your intuition doesn't need to shout to be heard, it speaks in simple truths. This feels right, this doesn't. Stay, pause, walk away, and you listen without negotiating. That's power without force. Listen to this. Power without force is how aligned lives are built. Don't scroll. Archangel Michael wants you to recognize the shift in how you experience your own worth. You no longer feel the need to earn rest, justify boundaries, or explain your pace. You honor your needs because they exist, not because they're convenient, and that internal respect changes how others respond to you. Your heart needs this right now because self-respect is contagious. Don't scroll. Love and soulmate energy respond strongly at this stage, not with fireworks, but with steadiness. You may notice fewer dramatic connections but more meaningful ones, fewer emotional highs but deeper trust. Recognition feels calm, recognition feels consistent, recognition feels like you can be yourself without shrinking or performing. Listen to this. The love meant for you will not rush your healing or compete with your peace, it will match your clarity. Your heart needs this right now because matching energy feels safe after chaos. Don't scroll. Choosing differently has also changed how the universe communicates with you. Signs appear after alignment now, not before. Angel numbers show up as acknowledgments. 1111 after you honored your intuition. 222 when you chose balance over urgency. 444 when you rested instead of forcing progress. These are confirmations that you are cooperating with divine timing. Listen to this. Cooperation moves faster than resistance ever did. Don't scroll. Archangel Michael is also speaking to the way your fear has softened, not disappeared, but softened into awareness. Fear no longer drives your choices, it informs them briefly, then steps aside, and that is a sign of emotional maturity, not avoidance. Your heart needs this right now because mature courage is calm, not loud. Don't scroll. You may notice that challenges still arise, but they no longer overwhelm you. You meet them rested instead of depleted, grounded instead of reactive, and because of that, they resolve more quickly. Clarity shortens conflict. Listen to this. Problems don't vanish when you awaken, but they shrink to their true size. Don't scroll. Archangel Michael wants you to hear this clearly. Choosing differently did not remove opportunities from your life, it filtered them, and filtered opportunities are easier to hold, easier to sustain, easier to grow. Your heart needs this right now because sustainability is the new success. Don't scroll. You are also learning that joy doesn't need intensity to be real. Quiet moments now feel fulfilling, laughter feels lighter, rest feels productive, and these are signs your nervous system is healing, safety is becoming familiar. Listen to this. Familiarity with safety is what allows long-term happiness. Don't scroll. Archangel Michael says many people mistake peace for boredom because they were addicted to chaos, but peace is where creativity, love, and purpose finally have room to breathe. Your heart needs this right now because your life is expanding inward before it expands outward. Don't scroll. Choosing differently has also affected your sense of time. You no longer feel late, rushed, or behind. You trust that what aligns will arrive when you can receive it fully, not when fear demands it. Listen to this. Timing guided by peace rarely disappoints. Don't scroll. You may notice that you speak less but mean more. Your words carry weight because they come from clarity, not urgency, and people listen differently now, even when they don't fully understand why. Your heart needs this right now because authenticity commands attention without trying. Don't scroll. Archangel Michael reminds you that staying consistent with your new choice matters more than grand gestures. Small aligned decisions compound quietly, and one day you wake up living a life that feels lighter without knowing exactly when it changed. Listen to this. That's how destiny unfolds when it's honored instead of chased. Don't scroll. The universe is now responding to the version of you who chooses peace instinctively, not occasionally, and that response shows up as fewer obstacles, clearer paths, and opportunities that don't require sacrifice to sustain. Your heart needs this right now because ease is the evidence of alignment. Don't scroll. As this part settles, notice how grounded you feel, how the urgency that once haunted you has loosened. That grounding is not temporary, it's the result of repeated honest choices. Archangel Michael confirms this gently but firmly. You are no longer proving yourself to life, you are partnering with it, and partnership changes everything. Stay here a moment longer, let that certainty land, because what comes next will not ask you to abandon the peace you've built, it will fit into it naturally, and this is why choosing differently was never a risk. It was a return to who you were always meant to be, awake, aligned, and ready to receive without fear. Don't scroll. Listen to this all the way to the end, because if you're still here now, this message has already done what it was meant to do, and your heart needs this right now more than ever. This is the moment where Archangel Michael closes the circle and confirms that choosing differently was never about losing anything. It was about finally meeting yourself, and listen carefully, because endings are not conclusions, they are activations. You stayed, and staying matters. Most people scroll away when messages stop promising drama and start offering truth, but you didn't, because something inside you recognized that calm can be powerful, that clarity can be sacred, that silence can be guidance. Archangel Michael says this is how destiny locks in, not with fireworks, but with stillness that settles into certainty. Don't scroll. This message is for you because awareness has now fully integrated, and from this moment forward, your life responds to your presence instead of your panic. Listen to this. You may not wake up tomorrow with everything magically solved, but you will wake up lighter, clearer, and more grounded than before, and that is how real change begins. Your heart needs this right now because peace is no longer something you chase, it's something you carry. Archangel Michael wants you to know that the universe has already acknowledged your choice. The moment you chose alignment over urgency, honesty over habit, and peace over repetition, unseen shifts began to move on your behalf. People, timing, opportunities, and even delays are now recalibrating to meet the version of you who no longer abandons themselves to belong. Don't scroll. This message is for you because love and soulmate energy respond strongly at this level. The love meant for you does not arrive with confusion, mixed signals, or emotional exhaustion. It arrives with recognition, calm, mutual, steady recognition. You won't have to prove your worth, explain your boundaries, or sacrifice your nervous system to keep it alive. Recognition feels like being met, not tested. And if something faded as you chose differently, listen to this, it wasn't taken from you, it was released because it could not follow you where you're going. Your heart needs this right now because loss and protection can look identical at first, but protection leaves peace behind. Don't scroll. Archangel Michael says this ending matters because it marks the moment you stop waiting for permission to live honestly. You no longer need signs to tell you what you already feel. Angel numbers may still appear, but now they land like gentle affirmations instead of instructions. 1111 as a nod that alignment is holding, 22 as confirmation that balance is working, for 44 as reassurance that rest will not cost you anything meant for you. These are acknowledgments, not alerts. Listen to this. The universe trusts you now because you trusted yourself. And trust changes everything. You will notice this in subtle ways. You'll pause before reacting, you'll choose clarity over convenience, you'll rest without guilt, you'll walk away without needing closure speeches. These are not signs of detachment. They are signs of authority over your own life. Your heart needs this right now because authority rooted in calm is unshakable. Don't scroll. Archangel Michael also wants you to hear this final truth clearly. Choosing differently did not make your path harder, it made it honest. Honest paths don't rush, they don't shout, and they don't collapse under pressure. They unfold steadily, meeting you where you are instead of demanding you keep up. If you feel emotional right now, that's not weakness, that's release. If you feel quiet, that's not emptiness, that's integration. If you feel unsure but peaceful, that's not confusion, that's growth stabilizing. Listen to this. Growth doesn't always feel like expansion, sometimes it feels like grounding. Don't scroll. This message is for you because staying until the end means you were ready to stop consuming guidance and start living it. Most people want reassurance without responsibility, miracles without presence, change without discomfort. You chose differently. You stayed present when it mattered. And because of that, your future will not repeat your past, not because you forced it to change, but because you refuse to abandon yourself again. Your heart needs this right now because this is the moment fear finally loses authority. Archangel Michael confirms this gently and powerfully. You are protected not because nothing will ever challenge you again, but because you now meet challenges awake, anchored, and honest. You will not lose yourself in the process anymore. You will not mistake intensity for destiny. You will not trade peace for familiarity. And that alone changes everything. Stay here for just one more breath. Feel how steady you are. Feel how calm doesn't ask you to prove anything. That calm is not temporary. It's the foundation you've built by choosing differently again and again. And this is why the audience who stays to the end is different, because endings don't end here, they begin. What comes next will meet you without force, without fear, and without requiring you to shrink. You didn't miss your moment. This was it. And because you listened, because you stayed, because you chose differently, everything that follows will finally feel like it belongs to you.